He caused the Gurjara Pratihara kingdom, Al-Jazur, a corrupt form of Gurjara. So Al-Masudi, native of Baghdad, who visited Gujarat, calls the Gurjara Pratihara kingdom as Al-Juzr, meaning corrupt from Gurjara. Al-Juzr meaning corrupt form of Gurjara. Corrupt form of Gurjara. The king Bora, probably mispronunciation of Adi Varaha, title used by Bhoja, although Bhoja had died by that time. Al-Masudi says that the Empire of Juzr had 180,000 villages, cities, rural areas, and was about 2,000 km in length and 2,000 km in breadth. The king's army had 4 divisions, each consisting of 7 lakh to 9 lakh men. So Al-Masudi, traveler of Baghdad, when he visited Gujarat, he described the kingdom of Pratihara. With the army of north, he fought against the ruler of Multan and other Muslims who aligned themselves with him. The army of south fought against the Rashtrakutas and that of east against the Palas. He had only 2,000 elephants trained for war, but best cavalry of any king in the country. So Pratiharas has best cavalry in India at that time. The Pratiharas were patrons of learning and literature. The great Sanskrit poet and dramatist Rajashekhar was the Sanskrit poet and dramatist at the time of Pratiharas. Lived at the court of Mahipala, the grandson of Bhoja. So Bhoja's son name is Mahendrapala and his grandson is Mahipala. The Pratihara also embellished Kannauj with many fine buildings and temples. During the 8th and 9th century, many Indian scholars went with embassies to the court of the Caliph at Baghdad. These scholars introduced Indian science, especially mathematics, algebra, and medicine, to the Arab world. We do not know the names of the Indian kings who sent these embassies. The Pratiharas were well known for their hostility to the Arab rulers of Sindh. Despite this, it seems that the movement of scholars and goods between India and West Asia continued even during this period. Between the 715 and 718, the Rashtrakuta king Indra III again attacked the Kannauj and devastated the city. This weakened the Pratihara Empire and Gujarat probably passed into the hands of Rashtrakuta. And for Al-Masudi tells us that the Pratihara Empire had no access to the sea. The loss of Gujarat, which was the hub of the overseas trade and the main outlet for North Indian goods to West Asian countries, was another blow to the Pratiharas. Another Rashtrakuta ruler, Krishna III, invaded North India in about 963 and defeated the Pratihara ruler. This was followed by the rapid dissolution of Pratihara Empire. So this is the end of Pratihara kingdom. So all these accounts are given by Baghdad traveler Al-Masudi. So this is the map of India at the time of Pala, Pratihara and Rashtrakuta. So next it is about Rashtrakutas. While the Palas and Pratiharas were ruling over North India, the Deccan was being ruled by Rashtrakutas, the remarkable dynasty which produced a long line of warriors and able administrators. The kingdom was founded by Danti Durga, who set up his capital at Manayaket or Malkhet near the modern Sholapur. So it was Danti Durga who founded the Rashtrakuta Empire. So who founded the Pala Empire? It was Gopala. The Rashtrakutas soon dominated the entire area of northern Maharashtra. They also engage with the Pratihara for the overlordship of Gujarat and Malwa, as we have seen above. Okay. Although their raids did not result in the extension of Rashtrakuta Empire to the Ganga Valley, they brought rich plunder and added to the fame of Rashtrakutas. The Rashtrakutas also fought constantly against the eastern Chalukyas of Vengi in modern Andhra Pradesh and in south against Pallavas of Kanchi and Pandyas of Madurai. So Rashtrakuta basically ruled in Deccan areas of India. So in that area there was also Chalukyas and Pallavas and Pandyas. So they fought against these kingdoms also. Probably the greatest ruler of Rashtrakuta was Govinda III. Okay, and Amogha Varsha. So in Pratihara, the greatest ruler is Bhoja, and in Rashtrakuta, the greatest ruler is Govinda III, and also Amogha Varsha. After a successful expedition against Nagavatta belonged to Pratihara kingdom, and annexation of Malwa, Govinda III turned to the south. We are told in the inscription that Govinda terrified the Kerala, Pandya, and Chola kings and caused the Pallavas to wither. The Ganga of Karnataka, who became dissatisfied through brazeness, were bound down with fetters and met with the death. The king of Lanka and his ministers, who had been negligent of their own interests, were captured and brought over prisoners to Halapur. Two statues of the Lord of Lanka were carried to Manyaket and installed like pillars of victory in front of Shiva temple. So Manaket is a capital of Rashtrakutas. Amogha Varsha ruled for 64 years, but by temperament he preferred the pursuit of religion and literature over war. So Amogha Varsha was more focused towards the religion and literature than war. He was himself an author, and he is credited with the writings of first Kannada book on poetics. He was great builder and is said to have built the capital city Manaket so as to excel the city of Indra. So Amogha Varsha was more focused towards the religion and literature, and he is the one who first written the Kannada books on poetics. Who was the first who written the books of poetics in Kannada? It was Amogha Varsha, and he also said to have built the Rashtrakutas capital city Manyaketa. There was many rebellions in the far-flung Rashtrakuta Empire under Amogha Varsha. These could be barely contained and began afresh after his death. His grandson Indra III re-established the empire. So Indra III is the grandson of Amogha Varsha who re-established the Rashtrakuta Empire. After the defeat of Mahipala is a grandson of Bhoja, okay, and the sack of Kanauj in 915, Indra was the most powerful ruler of this time. According to Al-Masudi is from Baghdad. Al-Masudi, who visited India at that time, the Rashtrakuta king Balhara or Vallabha Raja was the greatest king of India, and most of the Indian rulers accepted his suzerainty and respected his influence. He possessed the large armies and innumerable elephants. When Al-Masudi visited India at that time, he considered the Balahara or Vallabha Raja the most or important greatest king of India or Rashtrakuta. Krishna III was the least in line of brilliant rulers. He was engaged in the struggle against Pratiharas of Malwa and the eastern Chalukyas of Vengi. He also launched a campaign against Chola ruler of Tanjore, who had supplanted the Pallavas of Kanchi. Krishna III defeated the Chola king Parantaka and annexed the northern part of the Chola Empire. He then pressed down to Rameshwara to set up a pillar of victory there and built a temple. After his death, all his opponents united against his successor. The Rashtrakuta capital, Malkhed, was sacked and burnt in 792. This marked the end of Rashtrakuta Empire. So, this is the end of Rashtrakuta Empire. The Rashtrakuta rule in the Deccan thus lasted for the almost 200 years till the end of 10th century. The Rashtrakuta rulers were tolerant in religion views and patronized not only Shaivism and Vaishnavism but also Jainism. The famous rock-cut temple of Shiva at Ellore was built by one of the Rashtrakuta king Krishna I in the 9th century. His successor Amugavarsha is said to have been a Jain, but he also patronized other faiths. The Rashtrakutas allowed Muslim traders to settle and permitted Islam to be preached in their dominance. We are told that the Muslims had their own headman and had large mosques for their daily prayers in many of the coastal towns in Rashtrakuta Empire. This tolerant policy helped to promote the foreign trade which enriched the Rashtrakutas. The Rashtrakuta kings were great patrons of art and letters. In their courts we find not only Sanskrit scholars but also poets and other who wrote in Prakrit and Apara Brahmsha. The so-called corrupt language of Rashtrakuta as Apabhramsha, which were the forerunners of the various modern Indian language. The great Apabhramsha poet Swayambhu and his son probably lived at the Rashtrakuta court. So Apabhramsha is considered as corrupt language at Rashtrakuta court, and one of the Apabhramsha poet or great Apabhramsha poet is Swayambhu and his son lived at Rashtrakuta court. So this is all about Rashtrakuta Empire. I will continue the political ideas and organization of these three empires in next session or next class. Thank you. If you like this session, then please do like, share and subscribe. Thank you.